Hello ladies, it's Samantha. One of my subbies, the Accidental Saver, asked me to do a video about proteins. So that's what this is going to be about today. Protein comes in a lot of forms. We all know that. You have your soy, your wheat, your oat, your egg, your milk, your silk, your keratin. There's all different types of proteins. And a lot of ladies are what they call sensitive to certain types of protein. Normally, when dealing with protein, she had asked me to kind of break it down into like what are, light proteins, what are heavy proteins. Proteins are light, medium, and heavy. Now, as a base, like keratin would be considered a heavy protein, a hard protein. And the reason it is because it is the building block of your actual hair. So it is the protein most likely to bind with your hair and most likely to, stick into your core because your hair recognizes it as its own type of protein. So when you're using keratin, some people have a harder time with keratin even because of the fact that it is the building block and it makes their hair crunchy. However, proteins are broken down even with keratin into different ways of receiving that protein. Now, you can have keratin amino acids. Amino acids are the building blocks of protein. They are what build the protein. So if you have a product with keratin amino acids in it, you have the building blocks of keratin in that product. So it would still end up being more of a light to medium protein because it's not keratin. Hydrolyzed protein, any protein that starts with hydrolyzed soy, hydrolyzed silk, those proteins are chemically altered so that they bind and penetrate the shaft. Those are usually harder proteins because they've been altered to be stronger and to stick to the shaft more. So like silk protein, we'll start with, we'll start with some of the lighter proteins. Like silk protein is a lighter protein. It's a moisturizing protein. It does give you elasticity. It will give your hair strength, but even silk protein has made people's hair hard and crunchy, probably because it was a hydrolyzed silk protein in the product. Also, just like with anything, you have to keep in mind that just like some people you can eat wheat, but you can't eat soy, you're allergic to this or you're allergic to that, your hair will like certain types of proteins. A lot of companies use wheat protein because wheat protein, although it strengthens the hair, is also another protein that brings moisture. So product maker will see it's a moisturizing protein, and you'll find it almost everywhere, but a lot of people seem to be more sensitive to wheat protein. Could be wheat, or it could be the fact that a lot of companies also used hydrolyzed wheat protein rather than just a wheat protein. Once again, the terms amino acids at the end or hydrolyzed at the beginning will let you know if it's going to be a harder or lighter treatment. As far as egg, give you some proteins, plus if you see placenta, lanolin, milk, egg, ceramides, yogurt, mayo, whey, algae, oats. We all know about keratin. Collagen is also another protein, but it is also more moisturizing. Like I said, you want to try to make sure you check on which protein was used, because you can find that you can silk. Please excuse me, I'll be right. Okay, as I was saying, when you're using a protein, you want to check and see what type of protein it was, because even with a protein like silk, you may do well with silk amino acids, you may do well with silk protein, you may not do well with hydrolyzed silk protein. You may do well with hydrolyzed silk protein, but not do quite as well with just silk protein or silk amino acids. So you want to take into account what type of protein is in your mix. The other thing is always research. If you're not sure if something is a protein, and you do especially want to check with plants and plant extracts, they can be protein. So you want to, and especially if something has hydrolyzed or even amino acids around it, it's going to be most likely a protein. So the other thing that I do is if I'm using a protein I'm not sure of, if it's new and it's something I haven't used before, then I only leave it on my hair from 30 to 45 minutes, never longer, because the longer you leave it on, the more it penetrates, and you do not want to give yourself protein overload. Protein overload is much harder to reverse. Your hair will get dry, it will get crunchy, it will start breaking, and it can take you weeks to recover from a protein overload. If you do get protein overload, you must avoid protein in all shapes and form. And we know that's hard to do because, like I said, it's in almost everything, and you need to use moisture, 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 moisture. Whereas if you have moisture overload, you can fix that with a single protein treatment and be fine. But like I said, if you're using a protein you're not sure of or something that is new to you, leave it on for a minimum time. You can use it with or without heat, your choice, but leave it on for the minimum time and see how your hair takes to it. And always, always, always follow a protein treatment with a moisturizing treatment, whether you feel like your hair needs it or not. That way you're on the safe side and can avoid overload. I think that's all I want to say at this point about the proteins. I'm looking on here. Oh, the other thing is where it is on the list. I made myself a little note thing here so that I could refer to it. Where it is on the list. Protein in the first 5 ingredients is going to be more toward a hard protein treatment. Protein after that and in the middle of the ingredients is going to be more of a medium, and at the end it's a light protein treatment, because even if it's a hard protein, if it's the last thing in there, it's usually not a whole lot of it. So it's still, even if it's a hydrolyzed protein and it's at the end, you're still going to get more of a light protein treatment out of that. So you also want to check on where the protein is in the ingredients list. If you are sensitive to protein in general, I would suggest that proteins only be in your conditioners or your leave-in. The leave-in that you leave in and do not use again. Once a week is all it should be used. If your leave-in has protein and you're using it to refresh and you're using it every day, you're adding protein to your hair every day. So if you're having a tough time with protein, but you need some in your reg, use it just once a week. Have something with protein in it that you use once a week. For me, I give myself shots of protein throughout the week. I don't do a protein treatment every week. So I have products that have protein in them because I have colored my hair. Also, things like henna and powders and stuff like that kind of mimic protein. They're not protein, but they will fill in the holes like protein does, so you can get a very similar reaction. Anything that fills in the holes of your hair can give you that similar reaction to a protein. So you need to follow those things with moisture, and I'm going to do another video for my girl pal Scrap Terry about tea rinses and powders and hennas and stuff like that. So this is it for the proteins. I think I've covered everything I had wanted to cover about it, but I'm sure there will be questions. If you have any questions, please put them down in the comment section and I will answer them. I hope you ladies have a good day. Bye-bye.